Hey everybody, this is Lane Greer from Fullstory, and today we're going to have a controversial conversation. Preference between light and dark mode. I know a lot of people don't know that Fullstory even does dark mode, but check it out. Everyone loves, your good old Fullstory homepage that you land on here. But what about when you flip it into dark mode? See, I've been using Full Story dark mode now for, I don't know, probably a couple of months. And truthfully, I'm not always in dark mode. Sometimes I'm in dark mode. I've got sometimes that I like dark mode. If I'm specifically in like maybe my office and it's kind of dark room, I'll flip it into dark mode. It's a little easier on my eyes. Typically when I'm here at the office, I'm running in light mode. But I thought it might be kind of cool to like walk you guys through some of the different views of how things look in Full Story when you're looking at it through a dark lens. So let's take the home page, right? So we know what the light screen for the home page looks like, right? We've all seen this before. Well, let's jump over to dark mode. Here's dark mode on the home page. Next, let's jump over to segments. So segments is, everyone knows segments. Here's our high adoption segment in cargo. And I can scroll down through this page. This all looks pretty familiar, right? We know what this looks like. Let's jump back over here and let's jump over to dark mode. There you go. So here's dark mode on the segments page. I personally love the way that all the trend lines pop. I love the way that the differentiation in your segment health searchy pops out and it makes it super clear. I love the fact that the session replay play buttons are super obvious. All of that, I really like dark mode on the segments page. All right, let's jump to metrics. So here we're looking at a bounce rate metric. Oh, what is the bounce rate metric? How is it defined? Well, it's defined by all people who visit the homepage. This is the homepage bounce rate. All people who visit the homepage, and the homepage was both their entry page and their exit page, divided by everybody who visited the homepage as their entry page. And we can see here that gives us a bounce rate, and I can put this in a trend if I want to. I can dimension this by browser or device. Cool. So what's this look like in dark mode? So here is the same metric through a dark mode lens, right? Again, we've got our segment criteria right up here. Let's say our segment criteria right up here, or here's our metric criteria right up here. And then if I scroll down, you can see here's my metric. I'm going to flip this into a trend, do the same, give it the same treatment. So here's metrics. All right, let's go over to funnels. Funnels are super important. So here's my checkout from home full funnel. You can see this funnel has revenue in it. You can see average order value is $745. This funnel has seen over the last 30 days. So you can see I've got 30 days, I've got $1.3 million in revenue. And if I were to dimension this by device, you can see I've got a number of different lenses that I can look at this through. Cool, let's look at it in dark mode. So dark mode, we've got same thing, right? I love how dynamic the green and the red. I mean, the green and the red are there when you're looking in light mode. They just don't pop off the page the way they do in dark mode. Dark mode, I love dark mode for funnels. Next, retention charts. How many people don't know that Full Story does retention charting? I love retention charting in Full Story. It is super flexible and super clear. Let's maybe take this segment or this specific retention chart. It's everybody who updated their bank information and then they visited the host profile page as the returning event. So this would be asking whether or not engagement with updating bank account information drives continual revisits to the site. And what does it tell us? Well, we've got breaking it down by host account type. You can see that by enterprise and individual. Let's actually expand this because it's 30 over the course of 90 days. And then here's your chart below. There you go. So here's my light mode retention charting. This shows that there seems to be at least some degree from enterprise versus individual. Looks like enterprise customers tend to, looks like something probably happened on August 26th that drove a bunch of people back into the app. But let's look at it in dark mode. So going over here into dark mode, here's my retention chart. And here's what my chart. This is the only one that I think maybe I'm a little unclear as to whether or not this is more, communicates more or less clearly. I don't know, it still communicates pretty clearly. But yeah, here's dark mode retention charting. All right, let's take a look at journeys. This one's super interesting just because there's so much going on these pages. I'm curious what everyone's thoughts are. So here's light mode for journeys. These are journeys including click actions and page visits, right? And if I jump over to dark mode, we've got, here's your journey, right? So I don't know. I feel like this one is like 50-50 for me. I will look at it in light mode. I'll look at it in dark mode. I will say that in dark mode on journeys, sometimes it's a little easy to overlook fall off, right? So you can see right here on this step, you've got 13% of users who abandon on this specific step. If I go to light mode, you can still see them, but it just doesn't pop off the page the same way. So I'm personally probably going to give this one to light mode, give this one to dark mode as well. Let's look at heat maps. So here we've got a conversion. This is a conversion map. No, this is just this is a click map using extracted properties where we're extracting the price off of all the cards and using that as an indicator to show us the attractiveness or interaction rate based on the price of the car. Okay, so here you can see we're pulling out price, or I can pull out car position or whatever. But so here's your light mode heat map. This one to me definitively goes to dark mode because, man, it really puts everything else on the page just kind of disappears. Like the heat map is the star of the show in dark mode when you're looking at heat maps. And then let's go over to conversions. So conversions analyses. This one, I think because conversions has it kind of feels a little bit like a report. Dark mode in conversions can sometimes, I feel like it's a little disorienting, but I'll see what you guys think. So let's go over to conversions. Yeah, so here's my conversions analysis. Exactly the same thing through a dark mode. I can say after I've been using dark mode for a couple of days, this doesn't bother me anymore. But right off the bat, there's just something about it that just doesn't really feel as much like a report, which is just a personal preference thing. But yeah, so here's dark mode on conversions. I might give conversions a slight edge to light mode. And then last but not least, we cannot leave out session replay. Here's your session replay in light mode. This is one where I'm tempted to think that, I'm tempted to say that if your website or mobile app that Fullstory is running on is a kind of a darker themed website versus a lighter themed website like you see our environment cargo here, I have a feeling that session replay will feel more natural when you're running in an opposite orientation from your website. So let me show you what I mean. So here's cargo running through. If you don't know what cargo is, cargo is an environment that we own, and we have a bot orchestration on cargo, so we can kind of control it. But it's kind of a light themed digital experience. And if I jump over to my dark mode, here's session replay for dark mode. It's hard for me to give replay to light mode. I really like dark mode for session replay. If I click on some of the zoom out metrics, yeah, these just look so good in this dark mode. So like I said, it's a divisive conversation, but as you walked through that with me, I think I'm gonna have to give it the dark mode. I think I'm gonna be spending a lot more time in dark mode moving forward, but curious what you think. Let me know in the comments.